So, hi YouTube team, please confirm me whether you all able to hear me. Hi team, good evening and also good morning for US team. Let's do a short recap on yesterday topic and then we will move on to today's topic. So yesterday we have seen so many basics functionality in that is how to launch the browser using get method, validate the title. In specific, when we want to validate, we have to use a concept of actual and expected value, and then when we compare it with the help of equals method and if else condition, we can able to validate it. This is a one important concept we have seen. In that specifically we have seen for one minute. Yes, like current browser, get title, current URL, page sources, like that. So many things we have seen it for the browser, and navigation front, that is forward, back, refresh to those stuff. Then we try to check how to automate for one minute. Let me start recording. I forgot that. I started the recording. That so mainly we started with text box, radio button, checkbox. Very importantly, of course, button is easier one. In the text box, what we with the help of is displayed method is enabled method. We are confirming whether the value is present or not. That particular object, no, I should not say value, that particular web element is displayed or not, or it is enabled or not. If it is enabled, then we have to enter the value. This is the one thing we have seen it. And then after that, to enter the value, we will be using dot send keys method. We can also clear it. So this is for the text box. For radio button and checkbox, it's almost similar only. One point to remember here is for radio button, we can't unselect it, only we can select it. So there comes the importance of is selected method. With the help of is selected method only, we can understand whether it is already selected or not. Based on that dot click, we have to place it in if or else. Here we can unselect and also select or check and uncheck. It is possible to do it. It means again the same story, that dot click we have to place it in according to the default condition, whether it is already selected or you have to select again or you have to uncheck. Clearly or purely depends on your default application. So don't by heart these things, just understand the meaning of is selected. In real time scenario, you no need to worry because you will be doing all unit testing. So first you will add it in the if it is not working, then you will move it to the else. So that's how we will be doing it. But these types of question nowadays, they are giving some code and asking you for the output At that time, you have to visualize how the output will be, accordingly have to code it. So we are done till checkbox. Now let's move on to handling the image. So what do you mean by image? We have two types of image. One is static image, another one is, and that is static image means which will not have any functionality, and then image with functionality. Maybe in the place of image, in the place of link, they have placed an image. I'll show you that example. 1 minute. So here you can able to see, go to the registration form, and this is logo. Again, it's an image. That is an improvement in designing process. Nowadays, in all the website, they will mention the company logo. When you click on it, it will navigate to the home page. This is again a link, but they have designed with the image, which is having a functionality. And this is a static image. Here, one robot with hi messages there. No, if I click on this, nothing will happen. So that is what mentioned here. Totally, we have two types of image. One will not have any functionality, we call static. Another one, image with functionality. Sometimes logo image. Sometimes in some website and all, you will see image as like download here. So they will use that image in the place of button or a link, so that it will be an attractive for others to go and click on it, just like tempting to just download this. Mostly all the Java websites, as Oracle and all, if you want to download, they will design with that image only. So how to handle this? The good thing about this is it is similar to clicking of link, just like dot click. Same thing, we will be doing it here. Let's see the requirement first. So the requirement is here as we will be using the Chrome browser and then navigate to this particular URL. This URL. After this, verify the robot image icon is displayed. So here some important concept we are going to learn it. This, whether it is displayed or not, we have to check it. After that, get the image text of that robot icon. What do you mean by that? This image is having some text. If we inspect and see, we can able to see those texts. Let's cross check in the requirement. The image text value is automation. We should be able to retrieve it. If you see here, automation. So we have ALT with automation. That's it. So we have to retrieve these value. So this is what the first requirement. Let's go step by step. Create a new class handling image. Public static void main finish. Okay. So as per the requirement, we launched this particular URL. Now the next step is we have to handle with this particular. Let's try to find what is the exact whether it is displayed or not. I think that is the requirement. First, verifying whether it is displayed or not. So let's try to inspect it. Right click, inspect. When I move mouse pointer above this, you can see it is getting highlighted. And how can we differentiate it as images? The tag name will start with img. See, img. So like this only we can confirm, okay, this is image. And this is having so many property, so many attributes and its value, like width, height, src, class, alt, loading, src set, sizes. So many attribute, we will call these as an attribute and its value. It's an image tag. So if you go through our basics, first we have to go with ID. No ID is here. Second option, name. That is also not there. In out of that 8 locators, you can see only the class, which is not advised to use it. So what is the next thing is XPath. Let's try to get the XPath of this image and we will use across the program. How to get it? Right click, copy, XPath. So this is an XPath of that. It is a very lengthier one. Right now, let's go how the tool is giving. Once in the assignment and all, you have to mention like this. Once I complete the XPath methods that one separate class, then you can update all the previous assignment program. That is equivalent to, in real-time scenario, maintenance project. In maintenance project, our duty is to just update the XPath. So you are going to do that task. So you will be creating a lot of programs with whatever the XPath we are getting it from the Chrome. And once like we will be having like 30 to 40 programs. After that, at the end, we will once again revisit every program and accordingly we will modify. That is just like another way of getting practice of these concepts. So let's code it. It's a robot image. Again, let us just static image. It's usually what we will do, driver dot find element by dot XPath, and XPath value we have to give this such a big value. As of now you give it. So this will try to identify the robot image. So every place I can't keep on doing it. So there comes the concept of parameterization. Parameterization means you declare it to a variable name, and that variable name you can use it in any places. So in Selenium, this is not just a string or a number. This is an object. Object means what? It will have all the properties of that particular image, instance, all these properties and values of that particular thing. So object, why object or a web element? Why I'm using those words? Object is something, it is used across all the automation. You have T10 or as any tool you use, we call everything as an object only. This text box, radio button. In Selenium only, we specifically say it is as a web element. So that's a minute difference. So to initialize this, to declare it, we use web element class. So already you have a package, this web element, and the object name robot image. This is syntax. This is how you have to do it. So if you see, we have a package called web element. Using that package, you are trying to declare a variable and the value is this one. So in simple, if you want to declare any web element, any object, how will you declare it as? You have to mention web element, then object name, the object location, the driver dot find elements, whatever it is. So after this, now we have to check whether it is displayed or not, like yesterday program. If image icon, the robot image dot is displayed, for image there is nothing called enable disable, only is displayed makes sense. So you will say robot images displayed. In case if that image is not there, then I will say robot images not displayed. This one. Let's see. Let's execute. So execution completed. Robot images displayed. It just checked whether this particular web element or object is located in that screen or not. Yes, it is located in the screen. So this is the first few steps. Verify the robot image is displayed. Now comes the most important interview questions. That implementation, we are going to do it in this step 3. Get the image text of robot icon. Sometimes when you mouse over, it will show what is that image text. Here, as per the requirement, the image text value is automation. So automation should be retrieved. It means this image text is automation. Let's confirm that. After we inspect, you can see the automation. Here it is displayed. They said the requirement also. This is how they have to give an alternative name for this image. Sometimes when you keep mouse over above this, it will display this automation and all. So they said verify this particular text is retrieved. It should retrieve it, and we have to retrieve and display. So and we know few things like attribute. Attribute means here width is an attribute, height is an attribute, SRC is an attribute, alt is an attribute, loading, class, SRC set, sizes, everything we call that as an attribute. In this attribute only, they are coming up with 8 locators. That's a different story. Now we have to retrieve the value automation during runtime. Just tell me what is the attribute value. It is ALT. Everyone clear about that? The attribute name is ALT. Just let me know in the message. In the application, everyone clear, right? The attribute name is ALT. For that only, we have the automation. Everyone clear about that line? Okay, perfect. So, okay, I will explain after completing the coding, then you will get more clarity. Very easily, what is the requirement they are saying is verify the or just display the image text, and the image text is automation. This is a requirement. First, you understand the requirement. They said to display or retrieve the image text, that value is automation, the requirement. So if you go to the application, when you inspect that, we have to retrieve this value. It's in the backend. Usually when it's again a web development, when while creating any object, they will give some alternative names, and they gave here as automation. That is, you can see when I move mouse pointer, see automation here. And where it is stored, I already said with the height, SRC, alt, ALT, class, loading, these are called as attribute. The name is attribute. Now in which attribute we have this automation name, automation value is in the ALT attribute. So what we have to do is I want to retrieve the value during runtime. So get the image text, and they said the image text is automation. They said like that. Now I want to retrieve that image text. How will I do it? For that, we have already know what is the web element of that robot image already declared to that variable robot image. So during runtime, I want to retrieve any attribute value. For that, it is get attribute. So get attribute, what it will do during runtime. If you mention any attribute value, it will retrieve. In this example, it is ALT. ALT means it will display the automation. ALT. Same way for you, let me mention like with SRC, few more examples so that we get more clarity. So now you will understand what do you mean by attribute value. So ALT, maybe next can say SRC, same thing. Robot image of SRC, then sizes. So these are all the values during run the developer already given. Okay. So let's try to run it. So that particular robot image having so many attribute value. In this example, I am just displaying 3 attribute value: ALT, SRC, sizes. Let's see. So execution is completed. Can you all able to see the attribute values it retrieved? Zoom and YouTube team. So for ALT, what is the attribute it retrieved? The attribute value is automation for ALT. SRC means it is nothing but the location of where this image is there, and sizes, the size of that image. So we can able to retrieve each attribute value, each attribute value, this attribute, each attribute value with the help of get attribute method. First thing you must understand this one line. If you want to retrieve any attribute value means which method to use is get attribute method. First thing. And for our requirement, they said that image text is automation. So when you inspect for this requirement, they mentioned this automation image text under the ELT attribute. You can see here under the ELT attribute. So we have to display that particular one. So what I will do is, this is just to understand how to use the get attribute method. Now let's try to save it and display. It's a logo text. No, sorry, image text. No, next one only logo text. So I'll put logo text. Robot text equal to image dot get attribute. Why you are selecting ALT? It's purely depends on the application. In the application under the ALT attribute only, the automation word is saved or it is designed. So I'll say that the what they asked, verify the image text of robot. The text of the robot images, this one, get output like that. Simple. Let me run and show it again. So execution completed. And you can see first image is displayed, the text of robot images automation. This is what the requirement. So whenever we deals with retrieving the text, one of the only two methods we have it, one is get text, another one is get attribute. Now we are learning about the get attribute. One more example after completing this flow, I will teach that also. Then you will understand the meaning of get attribute. Get attribute is quite confusing for the first time. When we see few more examples, then it will be very easy for you. No worries, I will show like two more examples. This is the first one, and then they are saying verify the logo of the website is displayed or not. And if it is displayed, we have to click on it, navigate to home page. If we want, I can show the logo text also. It is not in the requirement. Let's try to add that into the coding part. So here you can see this particular logo. Right click, inspect. It's an image. Again, same story. It's an image. It is having so many property: width, height, src, class, eld, sizes. So now if they say like what is the text of this particular one, that is nothing but NextGen AI Academy. If they ask in this requirement, I didn't mention. In future, if they say what is the text of that particular logo means, they will mention verify whether the logo text is NextGen AI Academy means during runtime you have to retrieve this value and check with the expected and the actual results. One minute team. If logo image is wrong, it's a nice question. What okay, let me complete the coding and then I will explain that scenario. First, let's try to check whether this is the logo image. Every logo image will have its own text. For now, this particular logo image alone will have this particular NextGen AI Academy. So how can we confirm that? So let's first, this is for logo, definitely we will validate it. First, let's find web element logo image equal to driver dot find element by dot xpath. The xpath value, let's find it. Right click, inspect this one. Right click, copy xpath. So this is the xpath of the logo. This will identify the logo. So if logo image is displayed, then I will say logo images displayed. Else sys out, okay, is not displayed. It will just check whether it is displayed or not. Now one question someone asked, like what if that logo, it is an image, it is just checking in that particular position, nothing but in this position whether that logo is there or not. Suppose if you upload some other logo, maybe any other company logo, then if you take xpath means for that also it will tell this only, this, because this is equivalent to car parking slot number. So in our example we have discussed, right? Exactly this is what I needed means, then using the number plate we will do it. But in this xpath is directly mean in maybe a 25 parking slot, my car is parked. I didn't say my car number and all, but I'm saying this in this location only. So if we validate like this, it will be always pass irrespective of whatever be the image. Then comes the text of that particular logo. So the logo text only they will give it in the requirement. So here this is what that I have mentioned for robot icon. Let's try to validate for robot for logo also. Maybe I'll do it. Okay, I will add few more. Actual logo text equal to that particular object dot get attribute. What is the value it is stored? In this example, it is stored under the ELT. You can see it is saved in the ELT. Then string expected logo text, we will be getting it from the requirement. I will update this test case again. Okay. Now we have to validate if actual logo text dot equals expected logo text, then I will say sys out both actual and expected logo text are same. The logo text is, you will display this one. For example, if it is not if, this is nested if. You can see within one if, another if it is or not same, the actual logo text, the expected logo text. So this is how you will validate. I think I answered your question. Now with this logo text only, we will confirming that this text only that logo will have it. By chance, for example, Tata Consultancy Services, TCS logo I have uploaded, but we are not validating this text means it will pass because it is checking that particular position. Is there any logo or is available or not? But for Tata, maybe the text will be different. For Nextgen, the text will be different. So with the help of image text only, we can confirm that this is the expected logo that is displayed in the application. So all we can do with the help of get attribute method, I'm executing it. Return put. So robot image is displayed. Text of that is automation. Logo images displayed. Both the actual and the expected logo text are same. What is that text? Next-gen EA Academy. It means this is correct one. Once if both are same, then click on it. This is nothing but click on logo. I think that's a requirement, and then close the browser. Now when it clicks, it will take you to the home page. So this is how we will be validating the images. Here, new thing what we learned is attribute. I think it is very quick. It is done actually. It performed after checking that it just came to the home page. Just see from register page, it will be navigating to the home page. Demo site, it is launching, validating, and clicking on that logo, it just came to the home page. By chance, you have some other logo with some other text means this code will not work. It will not click because it will check for the actual and the expected text. This is how we will validate the image. Definitely every website will have logo validation. So this code you can reuse it. In this example, the value of that image is under the ELT attribute. Maybe when you inspect in real-time scenario, the attribute may be different. It is again, you have to inspect and check for the expected answer, then use that particular attribute here to retrieve it. So that is what. So till now, first Zoom team, everyone clear, understood how we are validating the image, and also YouTube team can reply. It's all clear. You can reply in the text. Yes, attribute changes daily. I don't know. You have to go and inspect and cross check. Mostly the logo text will not change for sure. For Amazon website, which attribute you are talking? Are you talking about logo or talking about other things? If you talk about any web elements, that will keep on changes. But if you talk about logo, that will not change. Mostly the logo will be in a common place. They are be uploading or during runtime. But so many, for example, dresses and all, if you see male, female, kids dress, when they keep on upload different collections, everything is a dress, but every dress will have its own image text under which it will be. It's we may not sure. We have to go and cross check it. Maybe it's not. So let's see. So ALT alternative text is credit card bill. For that image, what is a ALT? I think ALT mostly they will use to represent this image. So how can you validate? By ALT. If you see postpaid bill, both are image. How we are differentiating? See, ALT is postpaid bill. I hope Praveen now you're clear, right? Okay, perfect. Now there is one more step usually I will add for previous batches. Nowadays I removed it. It will confuse a little bit. Now just understand the requirement. For example, in the enter we as in yesterday program, we just entered the value and cleared it. Okay. So this is what we entered the value. After that, we cleared it in the text box. If we inspect here, observe clearly, there are so many attributes available here. What are all the attributes? Type, name, ID, class. Is everyone able to see value? As font size is clear. Let me know. Value. Able to see it? Team? So what this attribute mean? Whatever you are typing here, that will be saving to this particular attribute. I'm just in case if you're not understanding this concept, no problem. Just additional thing. For example, whatever the value you have entered or whatever value which is displayed in a text box, how to retrieve this means we have to use get attribute. And what is the attribute parameter is? It is value. Now I will show you that. Purposefully complicating, but still it's worth. Enter these things. So we enter first name. Okay. Now let's try to retrieve it. Retrieve the value entered inside the first name. How can we do it? We can do it. String directly, I mention it. This out. The object name is first name dot get attribute. What does that attribute mean here is it is value. So under the value attribute only, whatever the value you are entering, that it will go and save. Here it is empty because during runtime only we will enter something. That's why if you go and check for all the text box, the value will be empty. But when you check it here for mail and those stuff, that value is not. See here, the value is there because it is already pre-coded. Here it is male, female, but here the value we are giving during the runtime. So value. If I run it, what will happen? First name is, we will say it, and what's that exact value? It will be Vinoth. Just it will display Vinoth. So this is another way when you want to retrieve a value which is displayed in the text box. Maybe sometimes during runtime something will displayed here. Then after 3 seconds it will clear and close it. Okay, now see Vinoth. We entered Vinoth, then we cleared it. If you see here, what happened? It is retrieving something. When you execute the same code after clear, now you see whether it will have any value or not. If by chance, if you're not understanding this particular requirement, skip it, no problem. It entered the value, Vinoth, retrieved, cleared, retrieved. Close it. See, now if you see it, I'm just selecting all from the bottom. So it means here we notice there after it cleared, when we try to retrieve, there is no value. That's why it is like this highlighted. This is also another example of using the get attribute method. So every web element will have many attributes and its value, which will be decided by the web developer. Sometimes some of the particular attribute will be very useful. That particular properties, that particular attribute and its value will be very useful. I want to take during runtime. What you can do is use the get attribute method. So is display done, click done, get attribute. It gets the value of an element. We are done with image handling. Everyone clear? Shall we move on to the next important topic? Validating the text error message. Okay. Anything you can stop in between. Okay, first of all, what do you mean by this? Is again the most important functionality, and it's a very painful thing for a manual tester to do it is text validation. Again, for developer, we have to write a lot of conditions, lot of it go in the line, the program, it will be very lengthy of one. But once we complete typing, testing text validation is very easier in automation. What do you mean by text validation? If you know already manual testing, that's fine. If not, usually every text we will validate as per the requirement. We will have a requirement in that they will say like A stands for both AI and automate intelligence. So this should be in this capital or small letter. And this is how the text needs to be displayed here like that entire thing. So just imagine some website will have a lot of text, maybe HDFC credit card types. Go to that website. So when you go and check it here, it is displaying something, this thing. When you click on, so these are all the text. It needs to be validated. Not just like that, they will just validate only link and those stuff. This is very important. Just imagine you're going and checking. Grammar is very poor. Some mistake is there means what will happen? What customer will think about it? So everything they will validate it. We have during runtime, we have to retrieve this actual data and we have to validate with the or compare with the expected data. If both they are same, then what it means, it is passed. So these are like text validation. This is one positive scenario. Again, there are few more scenarios which deals with text. That is title. Now, when I click title, this is title validation. Again, this is also a text which is displayed. When I click on submit, you can able to see the error message, right? This field is required. This field is required. Please enter a valid email address and please enter at least 2 characters. Please enter no more or more than 2 characters. So these are all, this is again a text validation, but falls under error message category. Again, it is a text only. There is no doubt on that. Now, everything, the good part is the code is common for all types of text. Only the namings. First, we have seen a normal text. Then this is error validation. When you submit it, you're getting a successful message. This is a successful message, but for manual testers, validate a successful message, validate the home page text, validate the error message. This is how a manual testers will convey to us. But for developers, for whatever be the thing, the code remains the coding logic is common. Let it be error message, let it be the first home page text, or this is again a successful message which contains a which will have the transaction ID. So during runtime, I have to validate whether we are getting this or not and retrieve this value, display it in the output. So these are all the text validation. Literally, it's a very, very, very important one and very painful. Why I'm saying, because every field, every text box or every web element will have like 4 to 5 validations. Negative, that is error message validation. Just imagine you have 50 means 50 into 5, 25 validations you have to do it. When if it is a manual testing, you have to do it. After they fix an error, you have to do the same 25 types of validation. So this is a very, very critical thing, and there is more chance of we will do a mistake. So when how we do it manually, usually we will put it into a notepad like this and we will copy that and we'll compare word by word whether it is according to the requirement or not. What I was saying is, this is how we will do it. In the application, we'll put it. Then from the requirement, we will put it. We will compare one by one. Okay, is it according to the thing or not? And just imagine, they can't see. Sometimes there will be a full stop. That level, testers can't find it while doing the manual testing. So this is one drawback. That's why in some of the website, some words and all, there will be a minute spelling mistake. We can able to see it. So how can we do this using automation? We call this again as a text validation. One more thing. Very, 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 very useful and important topic. Validating text message. I will say text message. Either it can be homepage or it can be just text. It can be an error message. It can be of successful message. It can be of anything. For us, code logic is common. First time I will go slowly. Second time when I reuse it, I will copy paste the code. So make sure you are understanding the first requirement. What is the first requirement? So here you can see it in slide. Positive and error message, those stuff. The requirement is after launching the URL, we have to validate the registration title. Registration title is register for demo. This is how it should be. And here we have one more method introducing get text method. Previous program get attribute, now get text. Let's see what that means. So we have to validate that particular title. Okay. So after this, now let's see the positive scenario. Positive scenario means the successful message, just the front text title. Negative scenario means or error message. So positive scenario. Here we have to find for this title. After launching this URL, we have to validate this title. The title is this one. So during runtime, I have to retrieve this value. So what is the object? Let's try to inspect. Is there any locator available here? No locator, right? No ID, no name. So what is the next option? Copy XPath. This again, I'm saying, maybe after completing this program, once again, I will go with complex scenario. First, let's go with this XPath. This is the XPath of this particular title. Let's code it. This is title. Let's put title, self-explanatory. So web element, registration, title, text equal to registration title. Why not text? Registration title. Driver dot find element by dot ID, that particular ID value. So we declared that particular object. Okay. Now, if the importance of validations, I will tell. Before that, if you just check is displayed with this particular, this is equivalent to car parked in that particular area. It can be of any car. That is what this XPath means. It will say that registration title is displayed, else not displayed. So they are saying like this, it is displayed, another one is not displayed. But remember, this is just for requirement purpose. I am adding it. In real time scenario, we will not use this. We will use this, but we will use it as nested if. First, we are confirming that this in this place some text is available or not. We are not checking whether this is the accurate text. I will show you. For example, I'm changing here this one register. Now it changed to register. Let me take XPath again. Quite complicated, but try to visualize. This is for this first XPath is for register demo. Now when we change that particular thing, is it same or different? Tell me, is it same or different? You have to visualize, know the goal. Reply me in text. Is the XPath the same or different? Tell me. YouTube team can reply in the message. Okay, thank you. Tell me. It is same. So everyone understood that first time the title when it was registered for demo, this is the XPath. When the title is registered, this is an XPath. Now you understood why we have to validate character by character. If you check whether it is displayed or not, means that is not enough for text validation. It will check It is equivalent to, hey man, check whether my car is parked in that area. Yes, it is parked in that area, but you never said what is the number plate. This is what your car. You just said what, whether car is parked or not. That is equivalent to is displayed. So with this you should not stop it. What you have to do is, if it is displayed, then we have to validate. What to validate? The actual and the expected title. We already know the expected title. Let me type that. Validating the registration title. String expected title. I'll put registration title equal to, we already know this from the requirement document. This is what the expected. During runtime you have to get it like this. Now the question is, during runtime, what is the actual? During runtime, what will be the actual title? How to find it? That's the tricky. When you refresh, it will be back to the, because when you refresh, it hit the server, the latest code will be displaying here. Now you can see another interview question. So you all understood, if you want to retrieve an attribute value, you will use get attribute. Now if you want to retrieve a text which is mentioned between two tags, see, it is h3 tag, leave about what is the tag, but the text, this is a text, no, retrieve mentioned between two tags. During runtime, I want to retrieve means, for that we will use get text method. So any text during runtime you want to retrieve, it's a get text method. Same example, I'll show it like verification. See, between two tags, there is nothing here. There is no locator. This is the tag, no locator, nothing. Just they mentioned the tag. So how can you retrieve this value? Means get text. This one also, see, luckily this is having some locators value, but you have to retrieve this value. Please enter. It is not, it is mentioned between two tags, get text. Same way, wherever you want to retrieve negative scenarios, or show it. This one, this field is required. You have to validate this. I have to during runtime retrieve it. It is mentioned between the label tag. It is not within the label tag. Nothing like attribute and equal some attribute name equal to this is required field. It is not mentioned like that. If it is mentioned like that, you can use get attribute, but there is no attribute. It is mentioned between the tag. So at that time, remember, you have to use dot get text method. And one good thing is, in all the automation, whenever you want to retrieve a value from the application, we will be using get text only. Why we learn get attribute means, for interview purpose. Very rarely we will use it. Expected, sorry, this is actual registration title equal to the object name, we will know it, dot, it is get text. Remember, it is get text. This will retrieve the value of that particular title. Now same way, if actual registration title dot equal, sometimes you can go with equal, ignore case in some cases, but in text validation we have to be very accurate. And expected registration title, then I will say both the actual and expected registration title are same. So same. This out the registration title is mention this. Else you will say both are not same. The actual registration title, I'll show you the negative scenario also, make it fail and show you how it will check it. Expected registration title. So this is not, we have already seen this way of validating. Only one thing we are using get text. So during runtime, first it will check whether this title is displayed or not. Because if it is not displayed, then what is the use of going and validating inside this? That's why it is I mentioned inside the nested if, inside if another if, and then during runtime it will retrieve this value and compare it with the expected. If both are same, you'll get this one. If not same, you'll get the error output as a failed one. Let's first execute for positive scenario, and I will change the expected value and execute for negative. So the validation is completed. You can see here registration title is displayed. Both the actual and expected registration titles are same. What is the registration title? It is register for demo. Yes, we are validating that accurately. How accurate, if you put dot, it will throw error. Just imagine that's a one, of course, it will throw error. Maybe now the negative scenario. We have to get register instead of register for demo. As per the requirement, we have to get it is register. Let's see. I can't update it in the application. So reverse, in order to make it fail, I'm updating it in the expected. This is a defect. Now it will fail. So now see, both are not same. What is the actual title during run? What happened? It's wrong. 1 minute. Okay. See, while copy pasting, we have to be very careful. This is expected. No, I forgot to update it in the update the variable. Let's execute again. So execution is completed. Now you see, both are not same. The actual title is register for demo. The expected is register. This is nothing but a defect. You have to raise a defect with a screenshot and this log. Aesthetic defect, low priority one. So this is one. This is how you have to validate the text. Positive scenario. Everyone clear in Zoom and also in YouTube. Shall we move on to error message validation? Same code I will copy paste. So let me know in case if you're not getting this concept. Okay. If it is silent, I will take it for granted. Okay. Everyone understood. Now, as per the requirement, first we have to validate the registration title. Now we have to validate the mandatory error message for first name. This one. This is the one we have to validate it. Let's try to do that. For testers, it is a negative validation, positive validation, manual test. For us, it is same code, only change in variable name. So negative scenario, error message validation. So first web element, I will name that as first name error message equal to driver dot find element by dot xpath And what is that? XPath. So this one, copy XPath. So like this, we are giving. Now, same story. If first name, okay, same story. No? Why it's time? How you have to do it in real time? I'm saying copy it, because if you have 50 validation like this 50 time, you can't type it. It is impossible. We have a problem of automation, like per day, like 4 screen you have to complete it. Some 2 test cases. In that case, you can't keep typing. So copy paste and just follow the way how I'm saying control A, control I. You have to, whenever you copy paste, like text for text validation, I'm directly sharing the real time experience stuff. You have to go line by line modification only. Don't copy paste multiple paragraph and do it in single go. Don't do that. First error name is first name error message. This is done. Okay, now whether it is displayed or not. 57. Now what you will say? First name error message is displayed. After that, that particular validating the first name error message. Actual ACT first error, first name error message actual. What is the actual first name error? Nothing but that particular object dot get text. So during runtime, it will take it. Then expected first name error. So here we have to give that particular value with full stop. Okay, this is done. Then if actual first name error message equal to expected, both the actual and the expected first name error message are same. The first name error message is like this. Then both the actual and the expected first name error message are not same. The actual first name error message is this one. Then the expected error message is this one. And finally, last thing is not displayed. That's it. So there is, in terms of coding, if you think logically like a developer, nothing here we did. Just we renamed the variable and gave the XPath. That's it. Let me execute and show you. Okay, in order to get that error message, we have to click on submit button. No? I'm trying to click on submit button. So driver dot find element by dot id. Start. Then this is the line. Dot click, then only you will get that error message. Just to create that error message only, I'm doing it. Now trying to validate it. Let's run it as Java application. So execution is If you observe the execution, okay, it is done. Now let's see the results. Title displayed, both are same. Title, first name error message is displayed. Both actual and the expected error messages are same. Error message are same. The first name error message is this field is required. So it means it is validating. Even if during runtime, if this particular full stop is not there or capital R, it will find it, because we have seen that example in the string Java string method. Equals will try to compare it with every character number. Same way, another, usually everyone will ask this question. So if you have these many time, means should I want to, even the message remains the same, should I want to validate all the time? Means yes. If you have 100 error message, means in a particular web page 100 times you have to code it like this, no other code. Because if you think like a defect, this is equal, this is for the defect first name. Sometimes this will, you will, this, sometimes you may not get this one for first name, you will get it for last name. This is a, but this defect, one defect we can raise it for first name. I'm saying just additional stuff. If you're not getting it, leave it. When you do the manual testing or automation testing, you're not getting this message for any of the mandatory field. Means what you will do, you will raise a single defect saying that we are not getting the mandatory message first defect. I'm just teaching you how can we create a problem for a developer by creating lot of defects. First you have to put like that. Second level, then they will fix it. This, now what will happen, mandatory field first name, last name, gender, email id, something. Maybe for email id this is not getting it. So what you will do, you will close the defect, a new defect for email id, this field is not required, is not displayed. Second defect. In the email, you have multiple validation. For example, see, please enter a valid email address. So everything, this is when you are into the part, you will, when you are into the team, you will get the tricks. Sometimes we will club it together. Sometimes we will split it together based on the situation. When you do entire page testing, we will club all thing into the mandatory error message. But when you're doing each field is having, for example, email is having like 2 to 3 validation message, verification will have like 3 to 4 message. So like that, you have to validate everything like this. And you are getting 3 errors issue in the same email, means that's a single defect. Mention all the error message. Still you're getting it, means you just send him to fix it again. I got 2 error message, this one is not yet fixed. Like that, this is how in the real time it will work. If it's a manual testing, just imagine you have to check same way after every build. You're into a scrum team, done for the day. Scrum team, they will fix everything. All 50 validation for this page, you have to do it manually, no other go. Because you can't assure that because of fixing this will work. Not so. Sometimes some integration issue will come. Sometimes initially which was working for first name may not work. Second fix, after the second fix, the first name may not work. So all the probabilities will be there. So even though this looks a very small topic, just text validation, it will definitely reduce a lot of testing effort in during the regression cycle or during the testing phase. So make sure you copy paste, rename it properly, only one thing, go line by line modification. So that's the one trick you have to follow. So when user one time, again same name, same name, same name. Okay, real time when user register one time, again same name or same, it's, we can't register. Yes, if okay, that's a scenario. First time, if you register, you will get a successful message. Second time, when you mention an email ID, you will get one message. The email ID already existing. That is a message you have to validate it. Whether we are checking, whether we are getting that message or not. So that's a test case. It is not we can't register. We have to test it and get that message like this email ID is already registered. That is the validation scenario requirement. So I hope you got it right. Everyone clear? I took a long time for this simple topic because this is that much important, or it will reduce your effort during development phase. Development is going to be tough, no doubt on it, but go in a sequential way, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, line by line, modify and do it. That's it. Yeah, tell me, Abhi. Yeah, you can unmute and tell.
Suppose if I've automated the registration page and I have given the like username as in Senkeys, I have already given the username and email address. So next time again I have to like to check it to check the registration page. Next time again I have to change the username or
Yes,
email ID.
yes, definitely. No doubt on
Okay.
it. For example, this is a one more website, Parabank. Here, you will register with username and password, okay? And just say your scenario. You have to give that here. When you try it again, next time, what will happen? It will not allow. It will say that it is already exist. So it means when you do it during unit testing time, we will be trying with different set of data. That's how you have to do it. That's why there is another smart way you can follow it. Without implementing register, you first coded rerun without clicking on register button. Comment that click on register button, re-execute multiple times and make sure it is entering properly and getting output or not. Once it is done, then enable just uncomment the register and do it. Your data can be saved, right? You're getting my concept, Abhi?
Got it. Got it.
That's the simplest way. Usually we will do it. In mostly here also, I will comment that submit button. So I will be trying all the scenario till it is working or not. Everything is working. Then only I will click on submit. Initially, this website, whenever someone submit, I will get an email. At that time, I used to do that. Now I just remove that feature. So you can practice in number of time. I will not get any emails. So this is how in real time scenario we have to reduce the reusage of new data by commenting the last step. Once everything is clear, just you uncomment it, execute in single go. We can save data a lot. After this, driver dot close. So text validation, we are done. In simple, it is an error message or simple text, it's a successful message. Only one thing you have to focus is that variable name. Variable name, the way you name a variable, if someone sees it, they should be able to understand, okay, this means this particular functionality. That's why from the day one, I'm saying the variable name must be very clear. Follow the coding standards. So validating text, we are done. Now, again, the next tough topic in sense, when compared to all the objects, let me refresh. So if you see, if I ask you to do development of this page, you can do the text box, radio button, text box, checkbox 10, text box button. It means 90% we are done with the major functionality. Now, one last thing, that is drop down. This is from the list. So you have a list, from that you have to select it. So these all called list or drop down. So that is the next requirement we are going to look into. 1 minute chain. Okay, let's focus on the class. No important message. I hope, okay, YouTube are also clear about this topic. Good. Okay, perfect. What is the one? Handling dropdown. Okay, so before we go to technical part, this is again, I think with this will go for next 20 to 30 minutes. It is very important in terms of development. We will do a lot of mistakes in this dropdown, and especially when you work in regression project, that is this drop down values keep on changes. Drop down comes with dynamic value and all. This whatever I'm going to give you those cheat code, just implement it. Drop down. So what is the difference between this and rest of the web element with drop downers? In all the web elements, it is just a single web element. One web element, you are entering one value. One web element, one value. One web element, you're just performing either clicking or select clicking or entering the value. But this is not just one web element, it is one element with multiple value. If you are seeing here, nothing is said, just enter, select, those stuff. But just check it here. Just in one web element, but a lot of values there. So it means handling this is quite complicated. If you know how to do this, when during assignment after completing this, you will feel like the rest of the things are easier. Let's see. Let's inspect and see how it is developed in the backend. Mm, 1 minute. Country dropdown. Is the font is clear to everyone, or should I increase? Is it clear? I need yes. Is it clear? Anyone away? Let me know. Is the font is clear, or should I want to increase it? Okay. Clear. Okay. Thank you. Okay. For this country drop down, how you are saying it's a drop down? How you are saying? We know for image we have seen img. For button tag was there. Sometimes input tag was there. Here for drop down, what exact tag will be input? It is select tag. Remember, whenever it is select tag, then only whatever the code we are going to learn will work. And this select tag, note it down, because we have a syntax. If you can't remember the syntax, just inspect from here, derive that code. So it is a select tag. First point to remember. Okay. Then what is the next one? This tag is having this select tag, this particular web element having different locators, name, class, ID. Okay, let it be. When you click on this, you will have option tag. So option tag means this one, first option, second. So first one is an empty. That's why option, open tag, close tag. You have a value. There is no value here. That's why empty in the first thing. And this option tag is having one locator, one attribute. What is that attribute? It is value attribute. So the value is having Afghanistan, and within the tag you have some value, closing the option. Same way, Afghanistan, Albania, Algeria, so on. So you have option tag. Inside this option tag, you have the attribute value, and within the tag, you have the same value. Okay. With this understanding, now, if you are actually, we can able to select drop down by 3 ways: visible text, value, index. So how you can decide this based on the inspecting value. Here, whatever the value which is displayed between the tags are called visible text. So exactly what it is mentioned here only will display here. If you want to see, maybe second option, I will add one more A in capital. After adding here, see, it has changed, no? So it is retrieving from where? Between the option tag, whatever the value you mentioned. Maybe when I remove this, Barbuda, see, after A, it just removed it. So this is nothing but visible text. Remember, this is nothing but visible text. It is between option tag. So select by visible text means this value if you give, it will work accurately. And select by value, you want to select using this value. Why you when visible text itself working? Why should I go with a value? Valid question. I'll show you one example. That is. I'm showing a real application. Luckily, this is one of the project I worked, and I'm not showing project data. Just it's a demo site, so no security violation. This is a banking application. Now, just tell me. Drop down, visible text. Maybe if we go and inspect, anyone can use because this is purely a demo page. They are saying like this is my banking website, these many features are there, you can go and glance it and then open the account. Saudi project. Can you be able to see there is a minute difference between the visible text and text and the value? See here. Now, so where this value makes sometimes it will be very lengthy in the framework level and all. Special characters are not allowed. If in when you enter in the Excel sheet with some special character and all, you will get it like addresses and all. You can't give a full value. Maybe I will take some other pages. I forgot all the easier one. Transfer. I think account management. One statement. Okay, just use your common sense and tell. What is this? Any guesses? What is this? Any guesses? In the bracket. It is balanced, right? Everyone agree with me? It's a balance. Account number with a balance. Account number with a balance. Now tell me. For example, just imagine you're giving this while selecting this. Tell me whether this will be static always, yes or no. Will it be static always? Yes, it will be static always. No. No. That's the if you understood this, that's it. Because when you give a static value like visible text in this type of real-time application, that's it. Your code will work only once. When some transfer or when change, there is change in this value, that's it. Your code will not work. So in that place, the first option is visible text is not there. You have to go with value. Value previously I showed, right? Like three digit, like maybe USD, like that, it will show it. Your bad time, if value is also like this, see value. This is value, visible, this is visible text. Like this much big value, I can't give it. So the third option I have to go for index number. So index number means what? Back here. So this is visible text. This is value. Value means whatever mentioned here. Maybe I will say like this: a big value, a big visible text. For that value, maybe a static one. So instead of giving this, if you give this, it will select the value. Now this is also dynamic. This is also dynamic. Real time scenario. I'm showing it. At that time, there is a third option. You have to go with index 0. Always index means it starts from 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that, you have to give, you have to count and give that particular one. So this is what, so 3 methods we are going to implement. Before implementing itself, I said the real problem you will face in the project is whether dynamic value or static value or how it is going to be purely depends on the application. You have to use all these concepts. I can't automate that website because too much of objects issues. Let's go with simple one. And yesterday someone asked complex scenario. You can try this. It will be very, very, very complex. Just try one drop down. Then you will understand how tough the automation. So this is handling drop down. Okay. So after this, what we have to do, code wise, little bit additional lines we have to add it, but one time only. After that, you will get used to it. First, we have to know where exactly the country drop down. So country drop down. So web element, I will say like country drop down equal to driver dot find element by dot mostly ID value we will have it. Inspect. First, we will identify whether this is available or not. Yes, it is available. Semicolon. Import web element. So if we are identifying it, after identifying, only we can select it. So just like that, we can't view country drop down dot select. It will not work. There is a new way to do it. What is that? So first let me check. First let me code this one. First, if country drop down is displayed, then only you have to do it. First you will say country drop down is displayed. Is not displayed. Okay, fine. Same way enabled, disabled, all the stuff. Now, if it is displayed only, we have to code it. We have to select it. So all I'm using the nested if it is displayed. Okay, first we will execute whether we are getting displayed or not. And then I will include how to select the code. Application launched. And then, okay, country drop down is displayed. Fine. Now, we have 3 methods: select by, visible text, select by value, select by index. Exactly these 3 methods where it is available. It is available. It is already decoded and the class name is select. So all the method available inside the select class. So we have to create the object instance. So create the select object. So create the object instance for the select class. Create the object instance for the select class. So select, how to remember when you inspect, you can able to see it as select object, which is also a drop down. You can see that this one. See, it's a select. For this only, by chance, if you forget it, and when you inspect, you will know, okay, select is there. So the class name is also select. Create object for that. So class name, object name, maybe I will put country drop down as C drop down equal to new class name constructor, that is select. But here you have to pass that driver object. Here exactly driver object means here exactly which select box. Because if you see in the same page itself, you have 4 drop down, country drop down, this. How it will identify? You have to tell specifically like this. So select open QA Selenium, it's inbuilt one. This is how you have to create it. This is constructor. Till now we saw constructor. This is the parameterized constructor. We will see it once we complete Selenium in the advanced Java concept. I will teach you those stuff. Now you see dot. You can able to deselect by index value. Let's go select by index, select by value, select by visible. Deselect and all we'll see it later. That's a different story. So these 3 methods available inside the select class. I want to use all these reusable method. For that, Java basics. Create an object instance for that select. So select object name, new constructor, pass the exactly where you have to implement for the country dropdown. So some of them will mention like this. You don't do it. Always declare it to some variable and then use it. So this is how you have to do it. Now the first one we will see by select using visible text. So the object name we have already created, object name dot select by visible text. It is a string. We have to give that. What is that value? Whatever here you are seeing, by saying this also you can type it. Again, it's not a good way. Let's go. Let's always start with India. Inspect. When you type error will come down. So this is the bit value between 2 options. This is called select by visible text. So let's see whether it is selecting India or not. See, selected. It means our code is working. And there is no proper output. India value is selected. So again, basics. What we can do. String, maybe I will say list value 1 India. Exactly same. This I will mention here. List our country 1. Anyhow, in real time you will give 1 only, but I'm going to use country 1, country 2, country 3, all 3 scenario in the same example. In real time you will give only 1 value. So the country selected as this variable. Now you will get the output India. So always remember, in the output we have to clearly mention. The next one, let me give 3 second pass, wait. Next one is select by select using index, using value. What that mean? Whatever mentioned here, that is here in this demo site, that is so no issue. But when you consider a complex application like this, it will be different. Maybe this time, what value? Let's give some big name. United States of with this string country 2 equal to, I want to select this value. Okay, this is a value. So I gave this one object name dot select by value country 2. In this, I'm saying it again. This is static website. In real time, based on the scenario, you have to choose the respective one. If it is a visible text, you have to give this value. If you have to select, sometimes this is dynamic, this will be static. At that time, you can't give a visible text. You have to give the value and give that value. Maybe 3-digit code also, it will be USA. That's how we have to handle, no other code. Maybe functional team will come and say, hey man, in the Excel sheet, it is not mentioned as United States of America. But trust me, when you go with this USA in the 2-digit or 3-digit, during runtime, it will select that particular full value only. So the country selected as country 2. So you are giving the backend value. In front end, it will be like they don't know how it is working. It will select USA. They don't know whether we are using visible text or index or value. But when we go for data driven framework, the issue will come. In the Excel sheet, we have to give value. So we have to convince them. So they will say, why in the Excel sheet you didn't give United States of America? Instead of that, you gave just USA. Then I have to tell, when we go with that value, it may not work, it is dynamic. So I am giving this value, but at the end, your program will, the particular requirement will work as expected. Let me execute again. I think it got India selected. India after 3 seconds, US. Perfectly working. So maybe some of the, this is one example. Another example, we were seeing for the country, right? This one. Maybe this is dynamic. And see, this is even, you can imagine, you have to give value like this. There is a space. Okay, I got a perfect example. See, you can't give like this here. Doesn't make sense. So what is the only way? If you give like that only, it will work. The spaces and all, it is there. So I can't give that. I can give AED, AUD, then it will work. I have to go and talk to the team and make them understand why in the test data you have given AED instead of like this. I have to tell, because of development complexity, the application behaves like this. That's why we have to give like this, no other go, or else the automation script will fail. That is because of application behavior. And as an automation tester, you don't have the power to go and tell to a developer, man, can you change it? It's not possible for us to tell. So based on the developer only, we have to code accordingly. Remember that. But if you're in Scrum team, Agile team, the developer will be sitting next to you. You can tell, man, just give some static value. You can use trim, that's a smart way, but while selecting, it should be exact value. It will go and check whether inside the value, is it like this or not. But there is spaces and all, it will go and check. Spaces is also a character, right, Abhi? So it will fail. It will not work. So that's a problem. Visible text also will fail in that scenario. Maybe you can try that one example. Then select by index. So now you can understand that is both visible text is also dynamic. This is also dynamic, values are dynamic. So we don't have any other way. We have to go by index. Again, index starts from 0. Remember that. So if we see in that way, maybe what we can do. This is also, you have to start with this option. Even though it is empty, don't leave it, don't skip it. Always play with this, don't play with the application. Inspect and understand this. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Argentina. If I put 7, it will be Argentina. 8, 9 means it is Australia. So object dot select by index, it's an integer number, give 9, like that country. So 9 means Australia. But here you can't give a dynamic value. That's a problem. And there is a one more problem. That's an interview question. What is the drawback of using index? Anyone can message. See, India selected, USA selected, Australia also selected. So I just implement all 3 types of method in the same program. Here I can't give that value. Just tell me, again an interview question. What is the interview question? This one scenario, I can talk for an hour. I can ask so many questions. What are all the methods you will use it for? Selecting drop down. First question. You have to tell these 3 methods: visible text, value, index. They will ask which is best. You have to tell according to the situation. What do you mean by situation? So whatever I said, the visible text is static. I'll go with visible text. Select by, that is the drop down value. It is a static. I'll go with the visible text. If it is dynamic, then I have to check for value. If value is static and visible text is dynamic, then I will go with value. What is an example? Like selecting address 1, address 2, that will be a very big drop down. In some application and all, you will see drop down as address 1, address 2, address 3. Such a big value we can't give. So I'll go with a value. Now the value is also dynamic. The visible text is also dynamic. The drop down value is also dynamic. Then I don't have any other option. I'll go with the index 0, 1, 2. That's a, index means starts with 0. Now what? Now my question, just think and tell. What is the problem of using index? Yes, Arun Shah, thank you. Value changes. If drop down value is getting added, that's it. Perfect. That's it, done. We can't just imagine you have like 4 or 5 is fine, like 20, 30, 50 values. And in between someone added something for a development, all the index order will be changed. So our code will fail. That's it. I don't appreciate Amarai, HLR. Good. So this is how it's, again, most of the interview questions, it's all of guessing games. If you don't have an exposure, just guess what will be the scenario, what will happen. If you understood every method in depth, then we can guess to some extent. Right now, all 3 said, right? That's a simple example. So this is what select by visible, value, index. And in drop down, we selected all the 3. It worked. Now, handling multiple select drop down. We have only 10 minutes. I don't want to. That we will see tomorrow. Let's do a short recap. Only 3 programs, but it's most important one. We started with text. That is text. Image, then message, then drop down. I think 8 programs in the assignment we covered. So image means only two type of image. One is static, another one is dynamic. I can't say dynamic, an image which is having a functionality. One simple example, logo image. Definitely in all the application, we have to validate the logo image. So logo image means just we can't check whether the image location. We have to check exactly this is an image, that image text is what as per the requirement. In that case, first we have to identify that image using same way how we do it. And during runtime, I want to cross check what is the value of that image that is possible with the help of get attribute method. Attribute value depends on the developer. To my knowledge, mostly all the image attribute values will be saved under ALT. And again, the same story, actual and the expected. If it's equals, then both this is what the image we expect, and just display the image text. Then next one, text validation. So in the text validation, it may be a positive, negative, error message, successful message, whatever it is. We have to get the value during runtime using the get text method. First identify that one, and during runtime just get that object dot get text means within the tag, between the tag, that value it will retrieve and save it to a variable and then compare with the expected. This we will in real time, we will be giving this from the Excel sheet. When both are same, then we can come to a conclusion the validation is successful. Same thing, we are doing it for the error message. So when you do a copy pasting, make sure you are updating line by line. And then third most very important one, that is handling the drop down. We have three ways to handle the drop down: select by, visible text, value, and index. And remember, in order to handle the drop down, first declare that web element and then create the object for select class. So select object name, new object, that constructor, class name constructor, pass the country object. Remember, when you do a end-to-end automation of this website, you have to do like this for this one, this one, this one, using the nested if. Only one method you can use, either visible text, value, or index. Maybe you can go with visible text. But when you work in real time, once you enter into the automation project, if the values are getting dynamic, go with the value, and then that is also an issue, go with an index. And make sure if someone comes and asks you why you use short code, why you use number means, you should be in a position to explain this problem, because all these values we will be mentioning it in the Excel. So these Excel values will be filled by the manual testing team, and they will fill and execute it. They will ask a lot of questions. Why not full value? Why small value? So you have to make them understand this problem. That is the thing I want to convey. And then regarding the assignment, I think under the modules, module 2, this all done, located, and so we are done text box, button check, radio, image, text box, drop down. These two program we didn't do it, so you can start coding it. These two program we'll see it next week. I think this one is not possible. So 7 program you have to submit it. So 70 marks, one by one, submit it. And very importantly, don't go for the quizzes as of now, because I will tell exactly when to take it. Then only after seeing your assignment, I will tell whether you can do it or not. Because all the quiz are related to specify WebDriver. So unless you have a very good depth understanding, then only you can attend quiz 5. Remember, this quiz 5 is something related to interview questions. Just single attempt, so don't waste the chances. So these are all the things I want to convey to everyone. I hope, is there any doubt from the Zoom team? Please wait after call, after I continue this. live stream. We will discuss on it. First, let me check once with YouTube team. YouTube, is everyone clear? Shall we wind up? Chat. All clear. So if I get one yes, then I can end the live stream. Okay. Thank you, team. Happy week. Have a great week ahead. We'll see next week. Again, next week. After that, next 6 classes are very, very important for Selenium, especially in terms of practical. One reply means I will end the call. Okay, okay, fine. Clear. Thank you, Arun. Thank you, Arun, for replying. Okay, team, I'm just stop sharing it and stopping the stream. We'll see next week. Bye, 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 Purushottam. So end minute.